I'm going to show you how to texture another tree. This time it's a conifer and it has some needles instead of leaves. So just like before, it has a multi-submaterial. We do two submaterials, one for the trunk and a second one for the needles. And let's start with the needles. Right, so the basic way to create needle material is set up your diffuse color. Something dark green like this would probably work fine. Maybe more to the yellow shade, like this. And give it some light reflections. Maybe make the reflections slightly green. Okay, so for the needles you want to bring down the reflection glossiness to make them blurrier. And enable Fresnel. Let's try it at 2. Okay, so this is the basic idea. Let's see how it looks. And I'd say it looks pretty nice for regular needle material. You can make it a bit more interesting by using a fall-off map in the diffuse slot. So for example, let's copy this color and change our diffuse to a fall-off map. Right, so let's paste the color in the first slot and make the second one a bit lighter, like this. Let's render a little region here to see the changes. Right, so this is a bit too light. Maybe let's make the light color a bit darker and play with the fall of curve a bit. Maybe make just the edges lighter. So you can get a bit more interesting result with using the fall-off map here. You can get a blend of two colors. So for example, let's try to make it a bit more silver colored. Make the lighter color more bluish. So play around with the fall of colors and with the fall of curve to get some different results depending on the type of tree you're trying to texture. Right, so that's a nice silver needle material. Okay, let's set up the trunk material. I'm gonna search for some bark textures here. Okay, just trying to find something that looks like it would belong on a conifer tree. Maybe this one here, no. Right, I think this might work fine with some adjustments. Let's open it in Photoshop. Let's see how it tiles. Okay, I'm gonna offset it and fix the seams with the clone stamp tool. Okay, press Ctrl F to repeat the last filter. Alright, and let's make it darker. Okay, maybe more saturation. I'm gonna add another layer and fill it with a brownish color. Alright, let's try some blending modes. I want to give the whole texture a bit brown tint. Maybe like this. Okay. Let's merge down and save it as our diffuse map. Okay, let's create a reflection map. Simply desaturate it. Maybe bring up the contrast with curves. And this is gonna be our reflection. Okay, let's undo that and try the black and white tool to create a displacement map. Okay, I want to even out the colors a bit. Alright, let's make it lighter. Maybe duplicate the layer, Ctrl J, and try the high pass filter. Like this. And I'm going to change the opacity to, let's say, 50%. Alright. Let's merge down and save the displacement map. Okay, let's go back to 3D Max and set up our trunk material. So for the diffuse map, okay. So there's a bit of a slowdown here. Let's isolate the selection. I'm actually gonna detach the needle so we can see the trunk better. Simply select everything with the second material ID. And detach. Right. So here's the trunk. Looks like the texture fits very well. Let's reduce the blurring. Alright, let's set up the reflections now. Okay, here's the reflection map. And we need to bring down the glossiness a lot, like maybe 0.5. Let's enable Fresnel and set it at 3. Okay, so that looks about right. And let's try with simple bump map first. I'm going to use the displacement texture. Reduce the blurring to make it sharper. And let's render and see how it looks. So for this sort of a small tree, you probably don't even need to use the displacement. It's going to be much faster if you just use the bump map. If the tree is large and you can see the trunk up close, you might want to copy this texture here to the displacement slot and change the value to something like 0.5. And this is going to take much longer to render, since it's calculating the displacement on all these small branches. Alright, so it's taking a bit longer than I would like for this rendering, so I'm gonna do a little trick here. I'm gonna detach the largest elements of this tree. Well, actually not detach, but change their material ID to, let's say, 3. Right, and I'm gonna displace only these branches. Okay. Let's go back to Material Editor. And let's increase the number of multi-submaterials to 3. I'm gonna disable the displacement for the first material ID. And copy and paste the material in the third slot and enable displacement here. So as you can see from this far apart, you can't see much difference in the displaced version and the regular version. So in this case it's probably not worth it to use the displacement here. Alright, so I'm gonna disable the displacement, unhide the needles, and let's see how it looks all together. Right, and that's the basic conifer material setup.